take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw green bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name is Matt O'Leary. We don't have Ryan right now. It's just Matt and the Bean. How about that, Green Bean? What do you think?
I think it's going to be great because I won't get frozen as much for my opinions. I get silenced a lot on this channel.
There will be no silencing tonight, and the only reason is because I don't have the power to freeze. If I did, I'd freeze your ass right now, just out of spite. How about
just
that?
For saying shit like that.
Hey, for even bringing it up that
Right.
I might not freeze you. I'd freeze you out of spite instead. So Ryan might be joining us later. He has the link. But for now, Green Bean and I rocking with you, the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in while you're heading in here. Please make sure to drop a like if you haven't hit those milk thumbs. I wish I had the thing, but we'll have to manually do it. Milk thumbs. There we go.
Yeah. Right. That's what we
milk
do.
thumbs.
You know.
Perfect. Yeah, Jason Edwards knows the drill. He's in here. He's a member. He says milk thumbs. There
Love
we
it.
go. And Green Bean in the chat dropped it. I'll pin it on this end as well. We could vote for the
I pinned it, man.
He's been pinned it himself. Look at that. He's 2 steps ahead of me, this guy.
Yeah.
Braylon Allen for rookie of the week. That's the voting is out there. We could summon our powers and use them for good.
Well, Matt, and this is the thing. So maybe there's an argument that he is not the most deserving. I would argue back, but we're getting a lot of the Bowers boys. One, he has a good game. And it's like it's as if it's the day before the draft again, right? I told you, blah, 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 blah. I just asked one question. How many touchdowns does he have? Because our 5th round pick has 2 touchdowns. You can get all the yards you'd like. Thank you very much. I like it much, much more when I see guys wearing the New York Jets helmet going into that end zone, passing the threshold into the 6-point land. And Braylon Allen did that twice. The youngest player since 1930 to score an NFL touchdown, and he did it twice, Matt O'Leary.
Yeah, twice, almost 100 years. Like, think about that. What was the game like 100 years ago? The NFL is completely different.
Let me see. 1930 NFL football. All right, here we go. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to tell you exactly what it was like because it definitely wasn't like it is today. There were no Guardian helmets, Matt.
No. I don't think they even had the leather helmets. They were running around trying to get CTE back in the day.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you this. I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get it on screen or something.
Yeah, drop it in the private chat if there's a link, and I can pull it up.
Let's see here. I mean, I could just let me see if this is it. I'll just you got to scroll down to. I mean, these pictures are great, but you got to the picture I wanted to show you. Oh my God, it's damn. All right, it's like the last picture. So I'm gonna drop the link in our private chat. Where are we? Here we go. It's like I never used StreamYard before. Here we go.
That's okay.
Okay, there it is. So this is great. This is going to show you what the last time that somebody Braylon Allen's age scored an NFL touchdown, football looked like this. And this is why we're voting him in, and he will win the Rookie of the Week.
This is the one that you wanted to
all
see
the way at the bottom. The last one is the. I mean, you'll see they're all good, but it's like,
oh, look at that guy. Number 1, that's Kyler Murray. Look at that, a young Kyler Murray.
Right. He was the quarterback.
Washington, Cleveland, out in the snow. Oh, look at that. Oh my God.
Look, there's nobody shoveling the field. First of all, that is piles of snow.
Look at that guy. He's definitely got like just tape holding his nose together.
Yeah.
Right? That's what that is.
Because somebody punched him square in the face.
Broken nose. No, I'm not coming out. I'll finish the game. We'll go back. We'll get that fixed up later. How about that?
It's so crazy.
Let's get in. Thank you so much to Jets fan from Indy who's hanging with us, getting us started with the super chats tonight. Says the game was great. Fans took over Tennessee. Great win. Yeah, Green Bean, did you we'll start with this. Did you see the takeover of all the Jet fans in Tennessee? What'd you like from that? And then 2, we need to get into this game. What were some of your biggest takeaways from this Jets Titans game?
Yeah, number one, not only did I see it, I studied it, watched far too much of it, and was riddled with envy. So if anybody's in the chat that went there, good on you. I was downright jealous, straight up. Like the one that did it for me was there was a video, I believe it was Tailgate Joe, but I could be wrong, who took the video behind Fireman Ed. He was on a balcony over Broadway. And there were Jets fans in numerous bars on that street. If you've ever been to Nashville, it's just honky tonk after honky tonk. And then in the middle, there's a boot store. Then there's a guitar store. Then there's a honky tonk. And honky tonks are essentially musical bars, country music bars, right? So Ed was doing the chant, and there were Jets fans all over Nashville that you could see doing the Jets chant with him. It was like, I was like, oh man, dude, the fact that I'm not there is downright blasphemous. So yeah, I was jealous, Matt. But I'm happy for everybody who went, because let me tell you something, especially on the Braylon Allen touchdown, it sounded, the first one, it sounded like a home game. The roar of the crowd, it was so legit. I'm like, wow, like you can hear that. It sounds like a home game. So I was happy to see it, man. I mean, look, we hate it when it's our house, but nice that we could do it to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm with you. I pulled up our guy Bill Rucker on the screen. It got started with him pounding Bud Lights in the Jets cowboy hat. That really got the itch going. I did see that video. I saw another video of Bill Rucker leading a JETS chant at Barstool Nashville, and it just looked like the absolute best time. I am kicking myself for not going down there, but I was actually in Jersey for this game. I did a watch party at the Beach Gallery in Keansburg.
Yeah, how'd that go, man?
It was good. A good turnout. Friend of the program, Nick Shine, came out. His youth football team run ruled. I don't know if run rules. Mercy ruled. I guess that's the proper term. Sorry, baseball guy. 39-0. So they got there early. They thought they'd be there for the second half. Instead, they won 39-0. So they were there earlier. They really only missed like the first quarter, which was good, but good turnout. Jet fans were pumped up into it. I led some JETS chants. Shout out Derek. Shout out the Beach Gallery. They do a great job.
How was the first quarter there? Was it everybody complaining like they were on the live stream?
Yes. And I wish I could have hopped in at halftime to give you a feel. It was too crowded. I was talking to too many people. You know how that stuff goes.
I figured as much. No worries.
Yeah, but vibes were not good, Bean. I will be the first one to tell you, vibes were not very positive in the first half of that game. I was sweating. They drive down the field, they get a touchdown, and then it looks like they are about to go up 14-0. At least that's what the feel was at the Beach Gallery. Honestly, that was my feeling too. And then Will Levis, for the second week in a row, Bean, did maybe the dumbest thing I've ever seen a quarterback do. Yeah. What was that play?
Oh, that was funny. That was that one was was that the phantom sack? Was that the one where technically a strip sack? He tried to, yeah,
he's midair throwing it like backhand, but it's a lateral or backwards pass, so it's technically a fumble. A week after throwing one of the worst pick sixes I've ever seen, but Will Levis sneaky saved the Jets season a little bit, because if they went down 14-0, I don't know how that game goes.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be tough. I mean, because it wasn't just the points, which is tough to go down 14 points right as the game starts. But in addition to that, it was like there was that air and just like that kind of we suck. It just seemed like the life was sucked out of it. But the whole thing is, games, this is why we were saying that it's a winnable game. And it's like people are like, oh, we wouldn't have won without that. Well, I could argue that Calvin Ridley catch with Sauce Gardner draped all over him, Chuck Clark's fingers on the ball falling into his hand, amazing catch. You got to give him credit, but that's a freak thing in and of itself as well. So, you know, those kinds of things. Look, football is football. The reason that teams looked at the Jets for so many years and said, well, we're going to beat them is why? Because we had no quarterback. You know, and, you know, a lot of times no offensive line or whatever issues we had. But you look at teams and you evaluate them by what they have, because their quarterback is young. He's prone to making mistakes. He's not seasoned. That's the stuff. That's why we think we're going to beat him. So, like, Jets fans, like, we got to take wins. You win how you win. You know, that's what it is. It's because they fumbled. You know, it's because we blocked the punt, but it's also because we had some pretty amazing throws from Aaron Rodgers. We had some really inspired running from two running backs, and Garrett Wilson got himself in there. And look, it just is what it is. Like, when you look at a team and you go, holy shit, we're playing Tom Brady, or, hey, we're playing Will Levis. Like, that's what the NFL's made of. So I fully expected something to like. I expected the Will Levis factor. He looked good. He's got talent, clearly, but there's that rookie-esque mindset, that, you know, that young quarterback thing where they make mistakes. And that's why we were confident going into it. If that was maybe, you know, let's say Kirk Cousins, let's say, we wouldn't have thought the same things that we thought going in there with Will Levis. So I don't look at it as an excuse or anything. I just look at it as, yeah, it happened. We capitalized. And thank goodness, because going down 14-0 sucks the life out of the room.
No, exactly. And I think that's a great point. I forget who it was on Twitter. I wish I remembered. Maybe someone in the chat could toss it in there if they know who I'm talking about. But someone was calling during the game, Will Levis creatine Zach Wilson. And I thought that was just perfect for the description of how he was playing, because there was a couple wow moments. That throw to Calvin Ridley. I don't know how my guy Chuck Clark didn't come up with that interception, but somehow goes through him. It looked, honestly, to me, it looked like Sauce Gardner was shocked that he caught the ball.
Shocked,
right? Well, he had no idea how that ball was ended up being caught.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an incredible catch. It's one of those moments. Remember in the preseason, the first pass by Jaden Daniels, I think it was first or second.
Yes.
Over Jarek Bernard-Converse. He was perfectly covering him. You could not have covered any better without getting a penalty, and it dropped right where it needed to drop, and it ended up being a 50-plus yard reception. That's what we saw. That shit doesn't happen every game. It doesn't happen all the time. So, like, again, like, there's stuff on both sides. You want to complain about Sauce's holding in the end zone on D-Hop? Sure, I hear you. But what about the non-call on the face mask on Breece Hall that, or the call on Germaine Johnson, which, look, I get it. If his head hit the face mask, it didn't. None of that stuff happened. JJ pulled up. It should not have been a penalty. It was perfectly timed. I believe that was a third down on a drive.
Yep.
That ended up being points. So it's one of those things, man. Like, it happens. Again, like, you win some, you lose some, you make mistakes, they make mistakes. But that catch, you got to give Will Levis and Calvin Ridley so much credit, because they pulled it off. And that was not an easy thing to do.
No, it definitely wasn't. Jace is hanging with us too. Says, love you guys. Good first win. Time to go 1-0 in week 3. I feel really comfortable about Will McDonald taking over for Johnson. So 2 parts to this one, Green Bean, that we got to get into that we haven't touched on yet. 1, Jets lose Germaine Johnson for the season, popped Achilles. I feel absolutely awful for Germaine Johnson. Absolutely horrible. You know, year 2 last year took a really nice step forward. Was hoping we'd see another step in year 3. Season taken away from him, you know, in halfway into the second game, just absolutely brutal. But someone who is pretty much the whipping boy for a lot of this fan base, Will McDonald, took a lot of heat all last year in the off season, in the first game of the year, and he came up huge in a really big spot. Also, with the game on the line, had his final sack as well on 3rd and goal, and the dude has 4 pressures and 3 sacks. How about Will McDonald? And of course, your thoughts on Germaine Johnson.
And 3 tackles for a loss, everybody. Let's not forget those. equally important, much of the time. So look, here's now one of the sacks is kind of cheesy, right? Though, and it ended up being that fumble by Will Levis. They were calling it a strip sack. Okay, Will McDonald had no idea it even happened. He turned around and said, "Wait, what? Who?" But that stuff happens all the time. Like you see sometimes like a defensive end coming in, he swipes, the quarterback falls to the ground. It's a sack. He didn't even touch him. It was Will McDonald's pressure that flushed him out. He ran into him. He fell. He was falling through the ball. So it is Will McDonald. Like he did it. I know PFF was only crediting him with 2 sacks, a couple other people. It's kind of varied depending on which statistical agency you're subscribing to. But that play aside, he was a demon, dude. And like, this is the thing. I would much rather have Will McDonald and JJ. Like, if he's coming on, like having those 2 guys playing more reps would be optimal. It sucks that while one guy's coming on, you lose the other. It's brutal, man. And he's a good young player that is on the ascend. And this is the kind of thing that can, if not completely derail his career, it can certainly knock it off course for a while. And look, you can compare it somewhat to Carl Lawson. Germaine Johnson is younger than Carl Lawson was when he had the Achilles tendon injury, but he was never the same, and Carl Lawson is now, I think is he still on the Cowboys? I don't even know.
Practice
He was
squad. Yeah, practice squad for the Cowboys.
So he's on the practice squad of the Cowboys. 2 years ago, we were counting on him to be a pass rush demon. And you see it. You see how it happens. So this is incredibly unfortunate for Germaine Johnson, like you said, like no doubt. And, when you see a player put the towel over their face, especially after a hug and chat with Solomon Thomas, like you saw, why they're covering their head. They're crying and they don't want to do that in front of the world. And I can understand that. I respect that. I would probably do the same thing. You make weird faces when you're crying, man. You can't control it. You do stupid things. Put the towel over your head and just, let them see that. Let them see the towel. But it's brutal for the Jets, too, on top of it. And brutal for us. One of our young ascending stars, a really talented and impactful player, is now gone for the entire year. The Jets, this trend goes into last year. We don't win without a sacrificial lamb. And it's unfortunate. Like, we lose somebody for the year and we win the game. I can't wait till that trend turns around. Hopefully it does, because it's just, we're not going to be able to do that. Sauce, I believe, is playing injured. You saw that. He got banged up in week 1 and he looked a little bit off on Sunday. So, how many guys are we going to have to lose, this year? DJ Reed is banged up. CJ Mosley has a toe injury. So we just want to try to stay healthy. And, JJ's it's the saddest thing ever. And I hate it. I mean, three Achilles last year, 1 already in week 2. Hopefully it's the last one, because it's just, I'm getting tired of these friggin' Achilles tendon injuries and season-ending injuries for these guys. But I'm excited about Will McDonald, and hopefully we'll get into some other guys on the defensive line as we move forward. But I think having Will McDonald and Germaine Johnson would have really been a nice tandem to see work together.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It would have been really awesome to see that. And just going through, I mean, you listed off some injuries. I think that's going to be a really big talking point this week, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more later. But one that you didn't bring up was Michael Carter, who you could throw in there too. And the wording on that one, Green Bean, scares the absolute life out of me, because Robert Saleh, every time he's talked about it, essentially it's like, oh yeah, Michael Carter's got an ankle. He'll be dealing with that all year. It's like, well, a slot corner dealing with a high ankle sprain all year? Like that doesn't sound like a recipe for success. That scares me. On top of losing Germaine Johnson, CJ Mosley banged up, DJ Reed banged up. And oh, by the way, it's a short week. They play in 2 days.
Yeah. Well, maybe, just maybe. I mean, we've heard Saleh say things like, we're not concerned about it, and the guy's out for the year. We've seen that more than once. So maybe him saying, I don't know, it's going to be all year. Maybe he's good in 24 hours. I mean, we don't know. Saleh's full of shit. I've learned, and that's fine. He doesn't have to say to the world everything going on. These press conferences are mandatory. I'm sure there's half of them at least. He'd go, I'm not going out there today. I have nothing to tell them. They're going to ask the same stupid questions. So he's got to say stuff. So I'm hoping that he's full of baloney again in the other way that he's been in the past, because I would really love to find out that Michael Carter's a fat hundo going into these tougher games after, as we move on through the season. So I don't know. It's definitely scary though. Losing Michael Carter II would be brutal.
It really would be. Blitz
do we
Cruz.
Still call him the second, Matt? Do we do that?
I still do. Yeah, I still call him Michael Carter II. I heard someone call him Michael Carter III, and I didn't know if maybe I was doing it wrong this whole time, or is he just Michael Carter now? I don't know. I kind of like sticking with Michael Carter II. It feels formal.
It does. I actually like it. I like saying it.
Blitz Crew is hanging with us. He says, can we talk about how bad of a pick McDonald was?
Yeah.
I mean, this is some tongue-in-cheek action after, he was really ridiculed after week 1, obviously all last year, because, I mean, everyone saw our reaction. None of us at the time liked the pick, but I think once the pick was made, it's unfair to hold that against the kid. Like, you can't be like, oh, I didn't want this player, so I'm going to be mad and upset about it, when it's not his fault that Joe Douglas picked him. So their plan was he was going to be a rotational piece last year, which he was. And this year he's gotten a bigger opportunity because injuries and because Hassan Reddick hasn't reported, and in week 2 he was really good, and I hope he goes out there and is great again against the New England Patriots this week.
Yeah, I mean, we're allowed to be excited. It's the week to week in this league, as you know, and that's not just players, that's for us. It's like emotionally speaking, and some weeks are brutal, and like coming out of week 1, it was hard to watch the game, hard to deal with the backlash and all the stuff that the pile on, so to speak. So when something good happens, it's okay to do that too. We are fine with jumping on the team and calling everybody scrubs and they need to be fired when we lose. Well, if that's okay, then we need to be okay with somebody saying, you know what? I'm excited. I'm happy. I think it's going to be great when somebody gets 3 sacks and 3 tackles for a loss and numerous pressures. And it's okay to be excited about that too. Now, what happens next week? I don't know, but that was a pretty damn good sign. Seeing him kind of develop and grow into the role is exciting. Did you hear that comment that he had about if it's 1-on-1, this game's over?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the mentality I want from my edge rusher, who is noted as the game wrecker, according to the head coach.
Yeah, game wrecker. Yeah,
hey,
me too. Hey, game wrecker. I know, man. It's look, I'm excited about it, and I think that that mentality, like you said, if he's feeling it. He had 3 consecutive pressures on that final drive there to kind of close out the game. And we've talked about this with Quinnen a lot. He's really been quiet this year so far. But up to this point, Quinnen can have quiet games. And then when you need him, when it's 4th and 2 or, 3rd and 1, it's Quinnen Williams time. And that's what great players do. Those guys, lots of guys are stat compilers. Tony Romo is a great one on the offensive side of the ball. Every year of Tony Romo's career, he was among the top, or, if not the top rated quarterback in the NFL. Gets into the playoffs, and he might as well have stayed in bed. You know what I mean? So it's like when the lights are on, when the pressure is the most, he crumbles. And he did that his entire career. Dak's been doing that as well. Then you got guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana was great at it, showing my age a little bit here. But defensively, Aaron Donald, Ray Lewis, like when the game was on the line, when you needed to play, just bet your balls on it. Ray Lewis is involved in stopping it. If it wasn't him, it was Ed Reed. And those are the kinds of guys that you want on the team. So if Will McDonald walking into that, the last drive of the game is thinking, there's no way they can stop me. It's Will McDonald time. I'm going to end this game myself. And he's able to do it. Dude, that boost of confidence is only going to do good things for him. And, because having that belief and then having the actual results of that belief, that's a dangerous combination and can change people's careers. Sometimes all they need to do is see it work, see all their work that they put in actually materialize. And it's like, wait a second, I am an NFL player. These guys can't stop me. I have more than one spin move, because that's not all he did to get to the quarterback. As a matter of fact, on that sack where he reached around and grabbed, almost looked like a horse collar to me. I got nervous, but he grabbed his shoulder pad and pulled him down. Dude, that was all, edge speed and length. Dude, he looked like he had 9-foot arms. He just reached out and grabbed him. So if he starts to believe in, like Saleh was saying before the season, Matt, he was saying he's got to believe that he can run through people's faces. We think he can. He's got to believe it. So if he starts seeing that kind of, the efforts and all the work that he put in to accomplish that actually work, you might have an actual terror on your hands. And, somebody put in the chat before, if he goes by, he's got 3 sacks in 2 games. So what's that times 17? So 17 divided by 4 is 4.25. So 3 times 4.25. How many sacks is that?
That would be 25 and a half.
25 and a half sacks. I'll tell you, I'd be pretty happy with that, Matt. Would you be okay with those with that kind of sack production?
I would take nothing less than 26. So that 25
right.
is really just not enough for me.
Getting shortchanged.
Yeah, it's a bunch of malarkey is what it is. Hype's hanging with us too. He says, can we talk about Saleh being ahead of the curve? Week 2 is over and only a handful of quarterbacks have 300 passing. Rodgers was testing his confidence in O-line with clock. So what's your reaction to the Jets offense so far? They've been very run heavy. Rodgers, I believe the number is like 167 and then 176 yards passing, 21 attempts in week 1, 30 attempts in week 2. What do you make of it?
Well, what I make of it is this. While I, like just about every single Jets fan out there, wanted to see the Jets come out and just look crisp and precise and laser accurate and efficient and effective, what was more likely, and there were people saying this, I didn't listen, I stuck my thumb, I did that, I wanted to believe what I wanted to believe, but what I think we're seeing is an offense that has literally never played together, quarterbacked by a young man who is 40 years old, who has not played in an entire season. So the last time he played any meaningful football was 2023 or 2022. So I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at it. We got a whole new offensive line. We know about that. They got to gel. He's got all new. Not only has Aaron Rodgers never played with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Tippmann, more than the 4 snaps. We also have, all the new players to the offense as a whole, the Malachi Corleys, the Mike Williams of the world, the offensive line, and Braylon Allen and all those guys. So it's going to take a minute. I think we're seeing a combination of rust and a combination of kind of needing to gel. They're a little bit out of sync. You can see it. They're an inch off over here. They're a second late over here. So that's kind of what's going on. But let me the part about the clock, here's what I'm 99% sure of. I have no proof to back up my opinion here. I've talked to some people. They agree with me. This is complete speculation that I will now present to you as facts. Okay. The reason that we were coming up against the clock so much and had to use timeouts and got delay of game penalties, at least one, is because Aaron Rodgers was telling Hackett to shut the fuck up. I need to change your play. Okay, that's stupid. I need you to shut up. Stop talking in my ear. Okay, I need to think and let me go up there and talk to everybody. You are killing me. All right. They got 10 in the box. I'm not running into it again. Just shut up and let me think. All right. So that's what I think was happening. Again, that folds itself into the whole synced up thing. I think once Aaron Rodgers realizes that, hey, he's fine with working with me to design the plays and we'll teach the plays. He's a good teacher and all that kind of shit. As far as the game management, it's me and it's only me. I don't need him He could throw, hey, I think we should run this play. Great, thank you. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Now be quiet so I can think and not get a delay of game penalty. So that's what I think's going on. Again, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going on, Matt. You have any thoughts on that one?
I love that logic. Count me in on that theory. I am in on that. I think eventually we are going to see Aaron Rodgers finally unleashed. And look, I'm not saying he's going to look like 2020 Aaron Rodgers where he's throwing like 40 touchdowns and 3 picks on a season, but I think we'll see a game where he gets over 300 yards sooner rather than later. And I've seen this stat that's been shared around on social media that it's been, X amount of starts since Aaron Rodgers has thrown for 300 yards. And there's this narrative that he's really washed. And, the Jets are lucky to be 1-1 and are very down on him. But I think Rodgers' brain is the best thing that I've seen from this Jets team so far. Looking at the quarterback, they've scored 3 offensive touchdowns in both of their games that they played. Green Bean in 17 games all of last year, they only did it twice. So they already matched their season total in just 2 games.
I know, dude. And we are, well, Matt, we're funny. We are the funniest fan base. Like, if you just take a step back and like kind of just temper your emotions, right? Because it's so easy on Twitter, on Jet Nation, if you're on Instagram or YouTube, arguing with people and whatever. It's so easy to do that, and I get sucked in myself, right? But if you just take a step back and watch our like kind of cyclical pendulum swinging of emotions and all that stuff, we're hilarious. We've had the worst quarterback play all the way back to Sam Darnold. Don't forget, Sam Darnold was the 31st and 32nd ranked quarterback in the NFL too. Reasons aside, but it doesn't matter the reason. I'm just talking about what we watched. When you bought a ticket and paid $600 for parking and sat in 12 hours of traffic, what you watched when you paid for, right after you paid for the $13 pretzel, when you sat down and watched it or turned the TV on and watched it, what we watched is the 30th, 31st, or 32nd ranked quarterback play whenever Mike White wasn't on the field, okay, for the last 5 years. That's what we saw, or 6 years, really. So now that we have this and Aaron Rodgers is a little rusty, we're complaining. He's got 1 interception, which was a tip. Yep. He's got, what is it, 4 touchdowns, right? 4 touchdowns, 1 interception.
No, 3 passing. Tyrod had the other passing touchdown. So it's 3 passing touchdowns. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3-1. If that maintains itself through the rest of the season, again, I don't know what it is. 3 times fucking, I don't know. So 25 touchdowns and what would that be? 5 picks, something like that. I'll take
Sounds
it.
about right to me.
Right?
Sign me up for that.
Yeah. Hello. I mean, I really want to see him break that 30 touchdown thing. Wait, or did Fitzpatrick have 31? I think he had 31. Yeah, I'd like to see him maybe beat that. But if he doesn't and he gets us 25 touchdowns and 5 picks en route to the playoffs and we have a whole bunch of yards on the ground because of our 2-headed monster at running back, I'm fine with that.
You know what? You brought up Sam Darnold, but can I talk about something very quickly that's been bothering me, Green Bean?
Of course.
So as you may know, Sam Darnold has looked very good through his first 2 games with the Minnesota Vikings. I think we as a fan base have forgotten how bad 2020 was. And then also, like, the national media did this storyline already in 2021 when Sam Darnold looked awesome his first 3 games with the Panthers and then fell off a cliff. So I want to pump the brakes on the Sam Darnold year 7 leap and like, oh, it's the Jets' fault, they ruin everybody. Like that's irking me a little bit, Bean.
Well, I know I have said it more than I even wanted to. I told myself I wasn't going to engage at all with the Sam Darnold thing, but I have. I won't tell you where because I'm embarrassed, but I've definitely engaged a little bit, and I've said exactly that. Like, can we wait till he does something for more than 3 games? Because he was 3-0 for the Carolina Panthers. He was dropping dimes all over the place. Don't forget, they had DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, Robbie Anderson, McCaffrey. They had a loaded team back then. And he fell off a cliff. Once McCaffrey went down, it was over. Like, when he didn't have that kind of that security blanket, Now, the good news for Sam is that if he's going to succeed anywhere, it's going to be exactly where he is. He's back. He's reunited with McCown. He has a year of Shanahan under his belt now. He's got O'Connell there, who's a pretty well-respected offensive mind. He's got Justin Jefferson. He's got Addison. He's got quite a few. Who's the running back? I forget. He's good too.
Aaron Jones.
Hello.
Yeah.
Right. Who, by the way, was a guy I wanted the Jets to sign this year, but I'm very happy with the route that we took but he was a guy I liked for good reason.
Yep.
So, I mean, look, they're stacked. They have a good team, and he's got more support than he's used to having. And so I think if he's going to succeed, it's going to be there. But I'm right there with you. Can we just stop and it's from Jet fans most of the time.
A lot, yeah.
It's like this holding on to something for Sam has not been a Jet. This is his 5th year. He was a Jet for 3. He's got 5 away from us. Well, this is the 5th. So 4 solid years away from us. And he's now embarking on his 5th. He's been on 3 teams in 3 years. Shanahan elected not to keep him for whatever reason. And he's looking okay. He's having some fun. Great. Why are we still married to this bum? Why? I mean, if he has a good career, there's not one single Jets fan that wanted to give him these 5 years that he took him to get his head out of his ass.
You're going to give him a second contract and wait for the year 7 jump?
Yeah. It's almost as bad as Geno, Matt. He took 9 years. 9 years, not a Jet. And Jets fans are still saying, we should have kept Geno. No, we shouldn't have. The last thing of significance he did here was get knocked out in his own locker room. How much respect do you think he had in his locker room if somebody squared up and knocked his jaw almost off his face? How bad do you think the respect level was in the locker room? So we weren't going to wait. We don't want to wait 9 games. Are you kidding me? 9 games in, we want to fucking cut him. That's what we're doing. We're calling his mother on the phone. Your son's a jagoff. You should have aborted him. That's the stuff we're doing. 9 games into his career, we were doing stuff like that. So, look, if Sam does well, good for him. I'm definitely not rooting for him. Am I rooting against? A little bit, as much as I root against all Jets who've left. I don't even consider Sam a Jet. He's been a non-Jet for almost twice as long as he's been a Jet. Let it go and stop putting shit on my damn feed and my timeline. Should have kept Sammy, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. I'm so happy for Sam. Why? What did he do? Got mono? What? What did he do? Sucked.
That was really good. Oh, yeah. It was clearly it was bothering you too. You had a lot to get off your chest there.
But it's the fans that bother me, Matt. Yeah. I'm like, well, you leave it alone. Hey, I saw the play. I said, damn, Sammy, that was a beautiful dime you dropped there. Good for you. I mean, I watch it. I'm not anti necessarily, but
a 3-pick game is coming. Have we not seen this story before?
Yeah,
it's coming one of these weeks, man. But anyway, let's get this train back on track. We got some super chats to check up on. Sorry, we're falling a little behind tonight, but I'm No Seagull says, what's up with Bryce Huff? He has not looked good through his first 2 games in Philly. I know we don't have to go crazy long on this, but Bryce Huff not looking great in Philly. They're upset with him. 1-for-1 swap, the trade Hassan Reddick for Bryce Huff. What do we think?
Well, I love it. I don't think that the reason it's not going to happen is because the Jets didn't want to pay the contract. Although the contract is significantly cheaper than Reddick wants, and Reddick's going to get old and wither before our eyes if we were to give him the 3-year deal that he wants, $28 million a year. If we were to do something like that, and they're, look, there are 2 major obstacles. One is the Jets don't view him as a full, a 3-down player. So they don't want to pay somebody and, to do things that he's not going to be able to do. The other obstacle is that the Eagles found somebody to dump their bag of hot garbage on. And then definitely once you put a bag of hot garbage in somebody's lap and they run away with it, go, thanks. And they run down the street. When they show up back at your house a month later with that hot bag of garbage, believe me, you're not answering the door. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, there he is with our fucking hot garbage that we sold him. I ain't taking that bag of hot garbage back. That was a headache for them. They wanted him out. They were shopping him. They get enough of this guy. Get out of here. But I'll tell you what, Vic Fangio doesn't seem, he changed the defense. Remember? And it kind of put Reddick kind of a little bit out of position, so to speak. And they were asking him to do some things that really weren't, I don't know the details, but I was talking to some Eagle fans and they were pissed off last year and about what Fangio and everything. And now he's seemingly doing that with Huff. It's like, maybe, just maybe, the Jets knew how to use Huff more than they do. And I don't know, man, even if he's not what you thought you were getting, I think it's probably a pretty good idea on downs that are going to be 99% passing downs. You put him out there, you let him get into his rhythm and do what he does. And they're not even doing that. So you got to put some blame on the Eagles coaching staff, because we know what Huff is. We watched him for 4 years. We know what he is. We know what he can do. But it really harkens to the idea, maybe our Jets defensive staff know how to use people and they know how to put guys in position. And just because they succeed here doesn't mean they're going to go elsewhere. I mean, JFM doesn't even have a single pressure this year. He did have 5 tackles this week, but no sacks, no pressures. I mean, it's 2 games, so whatever. But that's kind of what he did. You don't get 50 pressures by having weeks that go by without a pressure. You know what I mean? He's got none. You look at Quentin Jefferson, he's done nothing, but just a tick above nothing for the Cleveland Browns. And he's playing 43 snaps, that kind of a thing, 37, 40 snaps, something like that. I forget. But all these guys. So it's maybe, just maybe, the Jets defensive staff, whether it's Saleh, Ulbricht, White Cotton on the defensive line, maybe they know what they're looking at. And it's like, Huff, look, we love you, man. You can play some running downs, but really what you're going to do is this. You're going to exceed at it. You're going to be one of the best in the game at it. And he said, no, I want more money. I'm going to go elsewhere. He got paid, and they don't even want to try it. So I got to say that's on the Eagles, Matt.
Yeah, I do think a part of it is that, and I'm not ready to victory lap it. I feel like I've seen too much of that online. Be like, see, the Jets were, this was it. Like, they made the right move. Huff's a Robert Saleh merchant. Blah, blah. Like, I don't know. He might.
I'm definitely not victory. I hope it didn't sound that way. I'm not trying to constructively look at it. Maybe Huff just doesn't like it there, and he misses us, and he wants to suck. He's like, trade me back to the Jets. Maybe that's what it is.
I would take it back.
I would too, man. I'd take it back second.
Jets Pack says, Jets fans showed up in Nashville. Half the stadium was green. Met Fireman Ed. Haven't seen us get a W in person since Arizona 2005. That's a long time ago. Let's go. Yeah. That's almost as long as Green Bean and I have going to these games and
and not seeing wins.
Yeah, not seeing touchdowns either.
Right. Dude, in our history of going to Jets games together, we've definitely seen more interceptions than touchdowns.
Brutal. It's not even remotely close. Well, Zach gave us 4 in one start.
First down, yeah. The
first time. I was boiled alive in the sun that day in the upper deck. That was tough for all involved. And then Flacco had to have thrown a pick that next year, right? In 22.
Huh. Oh, that was the Ravens, right?
In the rain, I feel like Flacco had to have been picked off.
He had to be picked off at least once. I honestly don't remember.
No. And then last year, that was the game against the Chargers. Wilson took like 97 sacks last year.
Which one was that?
Against the Chargers.
Oh, the Chargers.
Last year, how many times he got sacked?
That might have been the worst because we had such a good time. I mean, we had a good time every time, but that was a particularly good time. And it was like over before it started. We got 6 points. And then at the end of the game, we wanted one of those garbage time touchdowns just to kind of have something to go, yay, and leave the stadium on a yay. And we made it to the 1 yard line. Yeah.
And 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 dropped a touchdown.
Yeah, he did. He sucks.
Bastard. But this year is going to be different. Week 4, we've talked about it for a long time. Talking Jets outing. We are hanging out with Tailgate Joe again. We got 85 tickets hanging out with us upstairs in the building. We're going on the field after. I know I've been asked about it a lot. Green Bean's been asked about it a lot. Ryan's working on the seating chart this week, so tickets will be coming out to you individually very, very soon as well. Because
he said like most likely tonight. If not, it's going to be tomorrow. So it's going to be great. Now listen to this. One of the tickets that I bought, We are sold out entirely. One of the tickets that I bought, my sister told me today that I bought one for my nephew to give it to him for his birthday. And she told me today she thought it was an 8:00 game for some reason, and he can't go. He has some obligation with a team thing that like they're just like, no, he has to be here for this. And I would support that. It's a commitment thing. He's got his own thing going on with a team and they depend on him. He's one of the leaders and all that shit. So I have a ticket available. Okay. If not, I'm just going to eat it, or I'll give it to maybe my buddy Joe or something like that. But if you want it, it's out there. So we have one ticket left, everybody. If you want, let me know. Reach out to me, DM me on Twitter, and we can take care of it that way. You can also, the ticket's available, but you can either just buy the ticket or you can buy the whole package. So the whole package is available. We have one left. If you were thinking about going, the door is open just a creek for you. Let me know.
And the bidding will start at $500. Go from there.
$1,000, please.
Kidding, of course. But let's get back to it. Peter S. says, hoping for JJ to come back better in 2025, but at this point, which player gets into a Jets uniform first? Reddick or Devonte Adams? I say Adams. Yeah, that's one that I feel like Devonte Adams has been a Jet almost as long as Aaron Rodgers has been a Jet, even though Devonte is not a Jet. But
yeah,
the one that I know that this isn't what Peter is saying here, but I don't understand the thought of like how this computes when someone says the Jets should flip Haason Reddick and trade him for Devonte Adams. If the Eagles got a 3rd-round pick 3 years from now, how are the Jets then converting less value because Haason Reddick doesn't want to play for yet another team? How does that getting to Devonte Adams is my question.
Well, I think there would still have to be some other compensation because they're going to have to pay him. I mean, no, he's not going to go somewhere and just go, oh, yeah, now that I'm over here, I'll play for the contract. It's a whole thing that he's got going on. So, I mean, maybe, it can sweeten a deal or something like that. They're like, yeah, well, we're going to lose the Devonte Adams money. We're happy to just kind of flip that and parlay it. I don't know if that's the right word. Just let's flip it into Haason Reddick. We'll get ourselves a 2nd-round pick or a 3rd-round pick or something like that, whatever it might be. And we can kind of move forward in a different direction. I mean, maybe. And teams do stupid shit too, man. We're Jets fans. And we know about that. Know a little bit about that. So who knows? But I'm with you. I think it's unlikely. It doesn't seem to fit to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. South Dakota Jets is up next. Talking more Bryce Huff. I don't know if you've seen the highlights, but man, Huff looks really bad. What do you make of that? Eagles fans are pissed. I like the point that you brought up before, Green Bean, about Fangio and how he's being utilized. I know this is going to be controversial because everyone loved the Vic Fangio defense rather from years gone by. I don't know if he still got it in 2024. I mean, we might be looking at a washed Vic Fangio here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cautious about going all the way to that word wash, but I think the same thing. And the other thing, it's like, look, there's a couple reasons why coaches fail, right? Or players for that matter too. But you see in coaching, you see either like Matt just said, they're just kind of washed. They just lost it, right? That happens. They get older. They're not as sharp. They're not. The other thing is ego. So you got a changing game. And you have these old heads, and maybe not even that old, but you got guys, they've been doing something for a long time. They believe what they believe. It's worked for them in the past, and they are rigid. They are unwilling to evolve with the game of football. And I think I could see some of that going on with him. Like, hey, look, I got a player. I thought he was this. He's not. But what does he do really good? We're paying him $13.5 million or whatever it is this year. Let me see how I can use him. And he's not. And look, even if you thought he was a 3-down player and he's not doing that for you, you know damn well he's got one of the quickest first steps in the entire NFL. Use it. And he's not. So whatever that is, you see that shit. It's like, nope, he's not doing what I said to do. Like you saw it when not to bring this up, right? But I will. We saw it with Mimsy, right? Like the Jets staff, they held him to a standard for whatever reason. They made him learn 3 positions. And Saleh goes, well, everybody learns 3 positions when they're the backup. Really? Tell me who else is learning 3 positions on the fucking team. Like, and they just held that for whatever reason. I don't know the story. I talked to some people about it. They gave me some light on it. And it's not exactly the same, but it's just a scenario that popped in my head of one of those instances where it seems like, hey, if he runs a great hitch route, use the hitch route. Why does he have to learn and do all the, if you tried and he's not learning it, you already know he's got a great hitch. And use it 3 times a game. You know what I mean? Right. That's what I mean. Like, you know, those coaches that they have to take 3 years because they got to get their types of players. And then there's the guys who go out there and they go, okay, this is what I got. I'm going to change it. I'm going to draw this, blah, blah, blah. They go on the fucking whiteboard. You're good at this. You're speedy, fast. You're a little guy. I usually like big receivers, but I got all little guys. We're going to do this now. And they use their players' strengths. Those have always been my favorite coaches. Now, not to say that I liked them, but I've appreciated that game. And sad to say, one of the best at that, I'll give you a Jet, and then I'll give you a non-Jet. Like, so Parcells was really good at that. Like, he came to our 1997 team. He never liked Neil O'Donnell. He didn't like Adrian Morrell. He didn't like Hugh Douglas. But guess what? He won with them. He took a 1-15 team. He made them 9-7 with very little additions. And then he got fucking rid of them and brought in guys that he likes. But he could win with them. The other one is Bill Belichick, cut from the same cloth. Bill Belichick has won with so many different incarnations, or at least been competitive. Obviously, Tom Brady helps, but he doesn't just need this one. I need to have this type of guy or I can't win. You can look at the guys you have and you just mold. So Fangio not being able to use Huff, I don't think Huff fell off a cliff. I think it's definitely got to be something else.
I'm with you. I like that. And, you know, I do agree with your point on the coaches too. One that I remember, this is like my earlier days, so when I was younger, but when the Jets went from Herm Edwards to Eric Mangini, they were running 4-3 defenses, and Eric Mangini's like, I'm a 3-4 guy. And then John Abraham essentially became odd man out because he wasn't going to fit that bill. And it's like, well, shit. And eventually you end up getting Nick mangled and it all works out. But I always hate seeing like the turnover of like the good players who are useful, because it's like, I got to get my system and my guys in here.
Yeah.
Like that frustrates me when there's coaching changes.
Yeah, I hate it. I'd much rather, like, two of the things that they should bring up in coaching interviews. Number one, the Jets got to stop hiring rookie head coaches, right? That's one thing. If Saleh doesn't work out, you got to have somebody with at least a little bit of experience. They failed somewhere. It was their first time. They've had a few years as a coordinator. They're ready to get back on the horse. That's more my speed. The other thing is like you say, so they got to say, hey, tell me your idea of offense. And when they start saying, we're going to set the tone, we're going to establish the run game, and you get the fuck out of my office. Get out of here. You know, like I love the run game too. You got to say, like, I'm going to have a dynamic offense of today. We'll have a pounding running game that's going to bloody them up by the fourth quarter, but we are going to be airing it out. We're going to be spreading them out and all that. Like this defensive mindset for offense. Like, haven't you had enough? Like, thank God Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, like, we have the opportunity to kind of have balance, which is fine, but boy, oh boy, is it frustrating watching run pass, man.
It really is. So I missed a lot of the 4:00 games because I was driving back from Jersey. It took me almost 3 hours, which story for another day. But anyway, I got in right as the Sunday night, and you wonder why I don't like going to these games. But anyway, sorry. I got in right as the night game was starting. So I was like, okay, I'm back on my couch. Like, I feel like it's football Sunday finally. So I watched that whole game, and I'm so damn jealous of the Texans with their number 2 quarterback working out and looking so good, but also their play caller, man. Like, Bobby Slowick does such a good freaking job calling plays, and they're creative, and they got 3 good receivers and a good running back and Mixon. And it's like they could just make anything work. Or even like Not that their quarterback's as good, but the Lions with Goff and Ben Johnson as their OC, it seems like they could just scheme up things to go at will. It makes me very envious. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I'm envious too. And it seems like everybody else can get a coach that's just like, oh yeah, well, today the game looks like this. Now I'm hoping, like Aaron Rodgers alluded to this year, is that like you got to pay attention to the trends, right? So everybody, they get wide receiver heavy, and they're doing 11 personnel 94% of the time, and they're just throwing it downfield all day. What do you got to do? You got to bring in more defensive backs. You're running nickels and dimes all day long. And then so you start needing those guys. So you're choosing smaller defensive backs over linebackers. And then so they're taking that away. So what in Aaron Rodgers' words, it begs you to run at him. It begs you to do that. Now, the Jets haven't proven anything yet. So what they're going to do is like, all right, well, Aaron Rodgers is old. He's got an Achilles tendon injury, but they have not. Doesn't matter that it's Aaron Rodgers. We still don't know what he is. So we're going to take Breece Hall out of the game. We're going to bring 8, 9. When we ran on that 3rd and 1, they had 10 in the box. 10 were right there waiting for Breece Hall. And what did we do? Instead of a play action and let Garrett Wilson beat his guy one-on-one in single coverage, we fucking handed the ball to Breece Hall. And like that. So like, I'm all about, 4 yards of play wins the game.
Yeah,
That's my whole thing. But you got to be smart, man. Like you can't just do. So even though more defensive backs begs you to run the ball, guess what? You have to perform in a way that puts defensive backs on the field. If you're just going to run all day, they're going to be there waiting with big heavies. And so you have to, if you're going to get ahead of this trend, you have to have the threat of the other. And that's the whole thing that I'm saying.
Blitz Crew says, I think we see more vintage Rodgers after the O-line gels and Mike Williams off the pitch count. Milk them. So we got to do, I don't have Ryan's emoji thing, so I'm going to do the milk thumbs myself. I think this is a good week for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets to throw a little bit more. They've been a little conservative through the first 2 games, 21 attempts and then 30 attempts in week 2. The Patriots have done through 2 weeks a very good job against the run. They shut Seattle down in the run game. Geno was excellent throwing the football, but New England's a little bit stingy. I think this game is going to be a little tougher than maybe some would like to admit.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the Jets are going to or would benefit from throwing a little bit more. And I'm not saying, 45, 50 times a game. I don't think the Jets will ever do that this year unless they find themselves like way down early in the game. But I'd like to see the number between like 35 and 40 instead of 25 and 30 like we have the last couple.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Patriots are not playing like we wanted them to, like they were supposed to. Well, we all were sold. They're not supposed to be. Dude, they beat the Bengals and they took a very good Seattle team into overtime last week. So I'm going to tell you, a little nervous. I must admit, they've had our number forever. Now, granted, Belichick's not there. Tom Brady's not there. Sure. But Gerard Mayo is, and he has been a part of that shellacking, both as a player and as a coach. He's been a part of that 27 years of never beating them, whatever it was, straight. He was a part of that on as a player and as a coach. So he knows the deal, and he knows what to bring, and he knows what he's going to have to, he knows what to do. And if we don't account for that and like do this whole thing where we're just going to play our game, well, you might have to adjust a little bit. And I hope the Jets aren't like kind of sleeping on this idea that Belichick's gone. Obviously, Brady hasn't been there a while. They need to come out firing. The good news is it's our home opener. So There are very few games that are more impassioned than the home opener. And if last night's Monday night game is any indicator, a nighttime home opener is going to be pretty damn fun, and the crowd will be pumped up. So that energy can go a long way when the team just needs something to push them over the top. That can help a great deal. So I'm hoping that the Jets offense is gelling. We have a nice win. It seemed like the fourth quarter we looked kind of a little bit better. And that goes both sides of the ball, actually. Special teams look elite. So if we bring that into this game, just a continual upward trajectory with the home, the home crowd in our opener for the year, I think it's going to be a recipe for success. And we should win this game, even though the Patriots don't look like I was expecting them to look.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Jets win. And this is maybe a good segue here. I think the Patriots cover the number. It's a spread's 6.5 in this game. I think we're going to get a close, lower scoring game. I got it like 24-20, something like that. I think it's going to be another grinded out game. I don't see the Jets running away with this one.
No, I'd love them to. Don't get me wrong. I would love it. I'd love to see, like, at some point, in my opinion, we're going to have a kind of that statement, that breakout game. Whether or not it's this, I don't know. I don't think so. But look, it could be one of those things where Gerard Mayo is motivational enough that he's got everybody believing, he's got everybody playing as hard as they can, but that only goes so far. Because the truth is while they do have talented players, the team overall isn't busting. It's not busting at the seams with talent. They need a lot, in my opinion. So I'd have to go. I did a whole thing on them in the offseason. I was like, I'm really not loving a lot of these guys. So I think if you punch a team like that square in the chops, maybe they don't have the wherewithal and the makeup to withstand something like that. So it could go that way. Obviously, I'd like nothing more than like a 31-13 drubbing in our home opener. But I think, look, I'll talk about it on Thursday night with my own choices on BetUS, but which yeah. So I wouldn't take the over. Like, there's some bets I've seen out there, prop bets like Jets win by 6 or more. I mean, I'm hoping for. I would play cautious with those. I think it's more than likely going to come down to the end to be a tight game.
There we go. So it's that time of year. Winning season is back. Football is back, and MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action this season. MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager, but that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super, Survivor, and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for your huge shot at cash rewards. When you're ready to get started, use our promo code TalkinJets to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with code TalkinJets before you even place a bet. And now loyalty pays off with MyBookie Plus. The more you play, the more you win. It's simple. Climb through the tiers of loyalty rewards programs to unlock even more epic promotions, exclusive giveaways, and bigger rewards. MyBookie Plus is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie. Shout out to the sponsor, MyBookie, here on Talkin' Jets.
Yeah, doubling your first deposit, not so bad. Don't forget to use the code TalkinJets when you head to the MyBookie website, everybody.
Absolutely. We will get back into everyone's comments now. John says, Jets had 8 touchdowns through the first 9 games last year and have 6 so far in the first 2 games. The offense might become a strength of this team. Bean, sign me up for that. I would very much so enjoy the Jets offense being a strength. Now, I want to preface what I'm about to say by stating that I don't think the offense is at its fullest potential yet. But I did a video earlier this week. I did it on Monday that the Jets offense is actually already better than you realize. They're 10th in offensive EPA. They're one of only 10 teams who have 5+ touchdowns. So they're hanging around the top 10 offense, and we don't even think they're really that great.
Yeah.
Yet. So the potential is there, man.
It's such a great point. What you are watching while we're complaining about rust and being out of sync and Rodgers being old and the offensive line and blah, blah, blah. We got a top 10 offense for the first time in recent memory. I don't even. When's the last time, Matt? You're smart like that? You're good.
Patrick,
I'm
I think
not.
was I think the Fitzpatrick year 2015 they were like a fringe top 10.
So 9 years ago, how many people became fans in that window, in that 9-year window? Give me a green heart. Jets Forever's in the house. Speaking of green hearts, good to see you, Jets Forever.
Okay.
Truly, let's give some green hearts if you became a fan from 2015 onward. This will be the first time that you've ever seen a top 10 offense.
Connor Long was still in the womb at that point.
Yes, that's right. He
probably was.
He was, he might have been, I think, he's 13? I think he is.
So he's a little older than that.
Right there. No, he's right there, man. That's crazy. But yeah, man. So think about that. Connor wasn't even born. Oh, no, he was young, right? 9 years.
He was like 4, but still.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Dick Chimney's burner. What's going on? Says, anyone else notice Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis on punt team? Some trickery coming in the future. I love our special teams. Irv Charles for president. I got to give Irv Charles credit, man. He was epic in that game. Had 2 really big tackles. Had the blocked punt, obviously. I want to hear your take on this. I don't think Xavier Gipson's that good of a returner, man. Like, he had a excellent debut last year in week 1. Had the huge moment, the punt return for the touchdown. I thought some of his decisions were interesting, to say the least, when he decided to call for a fair catch versus not.
I said that live. I said, this is pretty much exactly what I said. Looked like he had some room to run there.
Yeah, he did. He had like 15 yards. I was like, that was weird.
Looked like he had a little bit of room to run on that one. Look, the truth is like, while I root for Gibson and he has a skill set that nobody else has on our team, that kind of small, shifty, quick wide receiver guy. But the truth is that and I've said this many times, I'm rooting for him, but I don't like him all that much. I don't think he's all that great. And while his mistakes, I'll knock on 1, 2, 3 different kinds of wood. While he has limited the mistakes, like I can't even believe I'm talking about it. I'm not.
I know what you. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why
you don't have to say it. No, we know what you mean. You don't have to say it.
Yeah. So he doesn't seem that impressive. Now, like you said, week 1, I was like, okay, hey, good for you, kid. Let's go. Let's build on it. But he just seems like a very inconsistent and limited player. But I'll tell you what, like, going to Irv Charles, we talked about it all offseason. When Dom C, who was first in my periphery, to mention, hey, dude, I don't think Irv Charles is a lock. My first response was, you're nuts. He's deaf, dude. They let Hardy go and the whole thing. Then it was like, as the offseason went on and we did our predictions and we're dissecting the roster and all the new guys, I said, maybe just because he did nothing in the preseason. Like he was just silent, right? I thought, okay, I started to consider it. I did put him on my final 53 because I just couldn't choose, but I started to entertain. Maybe he's not long for the team. But again, you see it just so quickly. He's our special teams guy. Boyer has a few guys that are his. He said, look, pick 2 guys that you can't live without. Let me tell you something. Irv Charles, outside of the punter and the kicker and the long snapper and that kind of stuff, pick 2 guys you can't live without. Irv Charles is one of those 2 guys, without question. So, and you saw it, man. He's the first guy down there making the tackle. Interestingly enough, when he doesn't make the tackle, you know who was doing it? Was Jamie and Sherwood. So that's another guy I hope we talk about in this stream. But dude, he shows his worth. A blocked punt and numerous just perfect tackles on punt return. Dude, that is of such high value. You know that people just forget about special teams. Like, you don't want to keep guys on the roster for special teams, but it's like, dude, one play, one little kick can change the whole game.
Yep.
So it's and good or bad. So you got to have guys that are going to give you the best chance to capitalize on those plays.
Mahovan, I know I'm going out of order. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to go back and get everyone's. But just while we were on the Irv Charles topic, I figured I'd pull up his chat.
Oh, smart.
He says, awesome seeing Irv Charles step up after Hardy left in free agency. Honestly, Bean, I talked about it a lot in the offseason. I was worried about that. I thought the punt coverage last year didn't look as good without Hardy. The game we went to against the Chargers was one of the games that Hardy missed, and they returned a punt for their touchdown like the first 5 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
Before Green Bean and Ryan even made it to the seats, the Jets were down 7-0 off a punt return.
Right.
So I was nervous about it. And as you pointed out, quiet, I thought training camp and preseason for Irv Charles. I honestly liked a lot what we saw from Brandon Echols and Quantez Stiggers in the gunner role. So I'll be honest with you. I was saying, like, if you're looking to sneak someone on like a Codrington, who they ended up trading, or someone else, maybe you don't keep Irv Charles and you put Echols or Stiggers in that role, and they didn't. Instead, they kept Irv Charles, and it worked out for him in week 2. He was a very big part of that win yesterday or Sunday.
Who did you say? Irv Charles. Yeah, and look, somebody's mentioned in the chat too, Mahuvan, like Stiggers, like Matt just mentioned. Like those kinds. Look, here's what's exciting is that when you have a guy like Hardy, who's, I mean, he's what you would label an elite special teamer, right? He's absolute dog shit and borderline useless as a defensive back, but he's a truly special teamer. Irv Charles is kind of that on the offense. He's not going to do very much, but as far as special teams, like he is clearly on his ascend. And you want guys like that on the team. And like you mentioned, when your dynamic special teamer leaves, because you'd rather not have to allocate a significant portion of the cap to that. If you could avoid doing that, you would do it if you have another guy on deck. So Irv Charles is the reason that they let Hardy go, in my opinion. And seeing him step up, like you said, it's just fantastic. And I agree. I think that's why he stepped up. This is mine now. This is my opportunity. It's like Eminem said, you got to squeeze it and hold it, yo. Isn't that what he said? You gotta seize it. Seize the moment. Seize it and squeeze it.
Squeeze it and hold it.
It's right.
I think so.
You got to squeeze it and hold it and squeeze it. Seize it. Blah, 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 blah. That's what he said. I've been told many times I sound just like Eminem.
Yeah, spot on. It's uncanny, actually.
Thank you.
Sky C says, hey guys, last year JD held out for a backup quarterback till late in the season. This year, the HR situation could be the next. JD being prideful before the team. You can make a case for that, but I'm going to bring up another thing, and I want to get Green Bean's thoughts to this comment, and then also what I bring up. Is it Joe Douglas, or is it Woody Johnson being a cheap fuck? Which of the two?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think if you have it under the cap, like Joe Douglas has said more than once, I don't have restrictions on my usage of the cap. So, I think I wouldn't say that it never comes into play from Woody, because I mean, even though it's under the cap, like, hey, dude, look, we're in the percentage. Like, if you don't need to spend $8 million of my cash this year, then don't. That kind of a thing. I don't know. The team's worth $6 billion. But the other thing is, I think that Joe Douglas, one of the issues I have with him is that I find him to be loyal to a fault. Now, loyalty is a very admirable trait, and I respect it, and I think it's a very high value. Unless it's like pride goeth before the fall, so to speak. It's like, nope, I believe in this guy. We're going to sink or swim with him. And I don't like that. He did it last year with Dwayne Brown. We've seen it numerous times with different offensive linemen. You saw it with Zach, in my opinion. Like, I knew Zach sucked while he was still at BYU, but okay, we had to bring him on. And we knew, we all wanted to root, and believe me, I did the whole 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐵 bullshit. And I do it. If Zach would have turned it around at the end of year 3, I'm telling you, I would be just as happy as anybody else. But it was very highly unlikely. And so for me, I'm like, well, dude, the third game of year 2, I'm like, I got to sit this guy. And I would have had, a serviceable backup, somebody that can come in and just let us play average football, that kind of a thing. So I think Joe Douglas, I'm not so sure it's a monetary thing. I think there's some pride and there's probably some kind of stuck in your ways sort of stuff. Like he's loyal, he's kind of in his own entrenched thinking, and it works most of the time. In this instance, it's not. And so I would say it's from my side, I think it's probably a little bit more of that.
Totally fair. I'm going to pin these next two together because they're on the same topic. So Blitzcrew says, love Mosley, but D looked better than Sherwood, better with Sherwood, excuse me. And then Jetted Out says, do you think CJ Mosley been a liability against the running game? I've been thinking this for some time, and they need to give Leonard Taylor time. So what was your thoughts on, I know you wanted to talk about him, Jamie and Sherwood stepping in for CJ Mosley? I thought had a really nice second half there.
Yeah, well, I look, and we saw it. I think it was the first play from scrimmage in the Niners game. They ran up the middle, and Jamie and Sherwood met him head on, stood the running back up, and drove him back. It was a perfect football hit and tackle. And I yelled like, Sherwood, because I'm a big Sherwood guy, as you guys know. As a matter of fact, when I met him at Jets camp last year, I said to him, hey, just so you know, I'm a big supporter of yours. I want you to know that I'm not just saying it because I'm talking to you. I'm a big supporter. I'm a big believer. And I want you to know I'm not alone. You have a lot of Jets fans that are really believing in what you can do. And he looked lovingly and passionately and deeply into my eyes. And he said, I won't let you down. I was like, fuck yeah, bro. Like that's exactly what he was. Just a delight to talk to, other than, aside of that too. But I think he's been in the system 4 years, right? He's a late round pick that they've just they had to mold. He was a safety in college. They've been molding him. Remember, Saleh said year one, he said, trust me, he belongs. He's got work to do. He said, trust me, he belongs. And I don't see, but here's the only thing I would say to that point you're making. The Jets defense last year, just look at the Cleveland game last year. There are numerous examples, but that's one that stands out. The first half, it looked like our defense was completely incapable of stopping them. The second half, they had no touch. They had nothing. They were completely blanked. Joe Flacco had 300 plus yards in the first half, and he had nothing in the second half. He had like 310 yards or something like that. It was crazy. And we did that numerous times. We are very much a second half team under Saleh. Particularly on defense. So I don't know if it's Sherwood specifically. I think it's probably a combination of the two. Jetted Out, like that second half itis that we have. We wait till the halftime. We do something in the half. I don't know what adjustments or whatever we do. And we come out and we play cleaner football and we look better. But I'm going to tell you, Jamie and Sherwood, I'm very high on him. He was the only Jet last year that had 0 missed tackles. When we're a team that's known for missing tackles and you have a linebacker that's known for he doesn't miss he missed none. That's a pretty damn good guy to have on the field. Plus, he had a 79 PFF rating in coverage this week. That's the X factor. If you can have him out there, and be confident in his coverage ability, then maybe you can go with our base pack. Frankie from Flatbush was talking about this in his show. I happen to agree with it, but Frankie talked about it as well. That would allow the Jets to stay in their base and have a more versatile player like a Sherwood who can cover the tight ends, cover the running backs, and also lump everybody up when they decide to run the ball. That's going to be advantageous for us. So I love him. I think it's definitely a part of what you're talking about, but I wouldn't discount the second half stuff that we do.
Yeah, and also too, I know on CJ Mosley, he hasn't looked good in the little that we've seen him in against San Francisco and against Tennessee. But I think part of that, he left both games for a portion. I think he was trying to play through and play hurt. He's been a step slower because he's another year older. And we've seen it a little bit over the last couple of years, but also on top of that, he's dealing with the foot or the toe injury. So I think that also played a factor. And, he's the leader, or at least the brain of that defense in a lot of ways. So I don't want to completely just throw him to the scrap heap kind of a thing. But when Mosley's back and healthy, I do think they should utilize Sherwood and get him on the field as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Again, like the reason that like the Jets play predominantly nickel defense, where I forget if you could talk to like a Frankie or a Dom, maybe you even know, Matt. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it's significantly favors nickel. So the reason for that is because we need coverage guys out there. So that's why bringing in a Chuck Clark, who has not looked good thus far, but he's another guy that missed the whole season. Let him get back, let him get his wheels under him and shake off some rust, and we'll see. But the idea is that if you can have your defensive back out there, he can cover as a safety, but he can also really provide a lot of run support, then that's going to be a value, right? That dual. But you can get that from your linebacker, a guy who can you're totally, if you're playing thirds or whatever, and he's able to cut, you don't have to worry about anybody pulling into his zone. And then if they decide to run it, he's going to fucking lay them out. Then that's the best case scenario. So I think you'll start to see if Sherwood's out there more. Well, let me say it this way. If the Jets are confident in what Sherwood can actually bring in coverage, I think you'll see our base defense percentage start to go up. I think, which in my opinion is going to be helpful, because what's our biggest issue? Run defense. So that's going to help a great deal.
I'm with you on that one. Back to the comments. The gag, he's got one. The biggest challenge we face on Sunday will be containing Ramondre Stevenson with a compromised run defense. The kid is good, going to be a tough task. I agree with that. I think the Patriots, what they want to do is they're another strong defense, and they want to run the ball. Stevenson had 20 carries in this game against Seattle, that went to overtime last week. And they want Jacoby Brissett to manage the game. So you mentioned it earlier when we were talking about like how we think it's going to play out. I said I think it's like a 24-20 low-scoring game. But if the Jets were to blow them out, they have to get up early, because the Patriots aren't built to throw themselves back into a game. But if you don't jump out to a lead, they are built to be a pest and to hang around all game. So if that's the way that it plays out, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of Ramondre Stevenson, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a good game on Thursday.
Hey, it right now, I don't want to say it this way, but I'm just gonna. It's our Achilles heel. That's fucking scary shit. Yeah, I mean, he's talented. So far, I just wanted to look because I didn't keep track of his numbers. He's got 120 yards week 1 and 86 week 2. Do you have let me see how many catches. He also had 2 receptions for 9 yards, not too much. He's got let me see. He's got a touchdown in each game. So yeah, man. I mean, and so we talked about him. I think it might have been last year or whatever, as somebody that was kind of ready to pop or something. Anyway, I think he's dangerous too. It's all about this defensive line kind of, shoring up. Like, here's the thing. We talk about losing JFM and Quentin Jefferson and Al Woods and obviously Bryce Huff, and replacing those guys with, Fotu hasn't played, right? So he was a guy that we brought in to kind of fill that Al Woods role. Not that he's as big as Al Woods or anything, but he's a run stuffer. That's what he's going to bring to the team. And he's out till week 5 at the earliest, right? So it's unfortunate. It is what it is. But you see guys like Kinlaw and Will McDonald getting more reps, and then the Tack McKinleys of the world. Like, when you look at JFM and some of these other guys, like they took a minute. Sheldon Rankins took pretty much a whole year to kind of acclimate, to this defense. And then year 2 is when he kind of started to spread his wings, and it got him a nice contract. I believe he's in New Orleans, if I remember correctly. But so I think we got to see, like, Kinlaw has been pretty good. It's been inconsistent, but he's been pretty solid. He's getting a nice amount of pressures. He's making some tackles. He's making some stops, which are important as well. Kind of, being the guy that causes the play to like clogging the hole, and then linebacker or whoever tackles him and whatnot. So I think we're going to see this defensive line stiffen up a little bit. But yeah, there you go. Jets for life. Fotu week 5. He's on short-term IR, right, Matt? If I remember correctly.
That's what I was gonna say. He was put on IR at the start of the year, so that's at least the first 4 weeks. So we'll see an update after that Denver game, I guess, but it could. Well, I think it's if they don't activate him after that 4th game, then he's out for the year. I'm pretty sure is how that works. So hopefully it is week 5.
We have a Ryan comment. Jets Talk 24/7 in the bottom of the chat there. It's good news for everybody. Bad news that he's not here, of course, but
Jets Talk 24/7. There he is. I miss you, boys. I'm working on sending out tickets to the group buy now. Look at that. Jets Talk 24/7. Ryan, glad you are in the chat hanging with us, and hear that. Everyone will be getting their tickets shortly.
yeah, Ryan, I wore my sweatshirt. I was all ready to get frozen all night with my seemingly controversial takes, but there you are sitting at home doing nothing, but sending out tickets.
Sending out the tickets. Look at that.
Miss Ryan.
Yeah, missed him. So
We're having fun though. No, we're having a good time.
I think it's going great, Green Bean. I'm having a great time with you as always, and the chat's a lively one. We're going through. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this Patriots game.
Yeah, I mean, look. Oh yeah, go ahead, do the Horatio chat.
Horatio is a member for 12 months. You could become an OnlyFans member yourself. Says, I was down on Corley through the preseason, and he has yet to really do anything. At this moment, draft position excluded. Gibson or Corley? I will throw it to you first, Green Bean. Team Gibson, Team Corley.
I'm on Team Corley. If I have to do that, I'm on Team Corley. He's coming on slow. He got a reception this week, and let me tell you something. He took a hit too, boy.
Yeah,
like when he got, I was like, that was a, it could have been a targeting penalty, in my opinion. It wasn't egregious, so it didn't happen. So it is what it is. But boy, oh boy, did he take a wallop. He just stood right up, walked off the, he's fine. He's a tough son of a bitch. And that's why we like him. I think he's one of those guys, Horatio, and thank you for being such an incredible supporter. We love the hornblower, man, truly. I just think that he's one of those guys that you're going to have to understand is going to take a little bit. Now, we have brief. Braylon Allen is coming on. He's a 5th round pick. So what if you just took a look at your picks? Obviously, you're going to think that your 3rd round pick has a more of a chance at immediate impact than your 5th round pick, but that's not the case, right? So our 5th round pick has 2 touchdowns, really 3 touchdowns in 2 games, right? He had the other touchdown week 1, right? With Tyrod Taylor. Wasn't that him?
No, it was Alan Lazard had 2, and
okay.
Breece Hall had the other.
That's right. Okay, so he's got 2 touchdowns, but he did look good on that Tyrod Taylor drive. He had a couple nice shifty runs and everything. Thing is with Braylon Allen, you don't realize how fast he is, and you don't realize how shifty. He's a big, brawling kind of a guy. He'll knock your teeth out, but he's faster than he looks, and he's also shiftier than he looks. He's got better moves than a big guy would get credit for. But so we're getting it from that guy. I think Corley's value is going to be seen this season, even if it's in the area of 25 to 35 catches when it's all said and done. I think it's going to be impactful, and you would just have to kind of let him get it going. I mean, I know we have a top 10 offense right now, but the truth is that we're not really firing on all cylinders just yet. You can see it. There's a little bit off. The timing's off. It just looks off. It doesn't look like an Aaron Rodgers led offense just yet. And we have quite a few horses that are really waiting to kind of, show up, so to speak. Tyler Conklin has just, he has 1 catch, or did he have 1 in the first week? I don't remember. But either way, 1 or 2 catches from Tyler Conklin. I thought he was going to have probably 8 by now, at least. So a lot of guys are, just sitting back there as the offense gets going, are kind of waiting in the wings to have their opportunity. I think Corley is going to slowly but surely make us happy that we have him.
Yeah, I'm in on Corley. I know that it's been a very slow start, but this is not surprising to me. They always bring on their guys really slowly, especially the young offensive players. I think we'll see him more in the second half of this season, which I don't think is necessarily any fault of 𝐒𝐿𝐽𝐽. I think it's just how the Jets usually tend to bring on their younger guys. And, Gibson's ahead of him right now, but he hasn't really done a whole lot. And if the Jets want to go, like, they're both very different players. Gibson's more the elusive, speedy slot, where Corley is yards after the catch. I'm going to run you over and put my shoulder down into you. So if the Jets want to play bigger, which I feel like they do based on, their draft and how they went about changing up the offensive line, I think that leans more towards 𝐒𝐿𝐽𝐽's Corley's skill set.
I'm sorry, Matt. I got what looked like a virus thing. So I apologize. I didn't hear you. I went completely into another zone. My bad. What'd you say, buddy?
I was just saying that I think the Jets want to play bigger, and eventually that will yield more 𝐒𝐿𝐽𝐽 Corley touches because Gibson's smaller and more of a speed guy at that point.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, look, when you look at what the Jets did this offseason, is they brought on a lot of a very similar attitude and playing style, right? So even when you look at like a Mike Williams, he's a contested catch guy. Another way of saying that is that he fights for the ball and wins, right? That's what contested catch means. It means that two guys really, really want it, and one guy's better at it than the other guy consistently. That means he's a fighter for the ball. That's a specific mindset. Throw it to me, I'll get it. And we saw that this week with his first catch, which was just vital. It was a third down, a beautiful play, a very difficult catch, by the way, with the guys. He was just right in his way, reaching up, snatching the ball. So you look at Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, 𝐒𝐿𝐽𝐽 Corley to add to Breece Hall. They brought on Tyron Smith and Jonathan Simpson. Guys that are kind of known as, being, they'll move you. And so when you look at that, I agree with what you said, Matt. I think that is going to start to take root. The problem I'm having with it is I think that we're not really ready to do that, and we're forcing the issue. So teams, like we saw with the Niners, they played 8 in the box all night long. And we ran Breece into it all the time. And again, that this week, when it was 3rd and 1, they had 10 in the box and they ran Breece Hall right into it. So I think like we're forcing it a little bit. I can understand maybe why. I'm still a proponent of, hey, that's a great opportunity for play action, man. They're going to fall right into it, dude. And we don't think like that yet. So we'll get there. But I definitely think this team is designed to be a wear you down and be the team still standing after a hard-fought game in the fourth quarter.
There we go. Wanted to go to Crossfire next. He says with his member chat, can't wait for week 4 game. Can't wait to meet Bean and Ryan. Matt, can I send you some Jets drapes for your window in the background? So Crossfire has actually Crossfire has been in this room. How about that?
Yeah.
Crossfire has been in this room. So he's seen it before it was all completed. He also, I wanted to shout him out because he gifted 5 memberships. Thank you for the generosity. I'm in on Jets drapes. I think it would look pretty cool. This is, for full transparency, it's just one drape. It's not like, how sometimes you have the 2 and they like go together and then you pull them apart in the middle kind of thing. This is just one clean drape. So if they make one that's like that, or if it's the 2 that go together, I don't know how the 2 that go together would look here. It might be a little too scrunched because it's a small window.
Well, you know what? Here's the great thing about having your own pad. Now, I know, when we have our own room or our own whatever it might be, when it's ours, like if I don't pay it, it gets taken away. Like that kind of thing, the lights go off and that shit. You can do anything you want, and you can experiment, and you can do something. If it don't work, you can pull it down, light it on fire in the backyard. You can do all sorts of fun shit, man. And you can do whatever you want. I'm excited for the evolution of your studio. If it should change or go back, I just want to be here for it, man. I love that you got your new spot.
Thank you. And yes, I'm excited to hang with Crossfire week 4. Should be a really fun time, man. 85 Jet fans all hanging with us. Really excited for it. It's going to be a good time. Tom Cahill says, I think it's great that Brees and Braylon are competing against each other, Ed and Davis, and we are stacked. How do you feel about that Jets 1-2 punch? I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything I ever wanted. I mean, guys, you heard me. If you listen to us all off season, I wasn't alone, but I will venture to say that I was one of the louder voices for Braylon Allen. As you guys know, we do the Monday Night Mock, and every week they would, people make fun of me in there, like, Bean, you want the same damn guys. I'm like, I hear you, but I love him, and he was my RB1 for the Jets. I didn't think he was the best back necessarily in the whole draft. I think Miami got that guy, unfortunately. But I did think he was among the best backs. And as far as what would complement Brees the most, I said it is Braylon Allen every day, all day. If it wasn't him, I wanted 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻, or guess who? Isaiah Davis. That was my other guy that I thought if we bring on one of those two guys, we're going to really like him. So to have Brees and Braylon Allen doing that, which, by the way, the link to vote for Braylon Allen to win Rookie of the Week is pinned to the top of this very chat. I have voted for him probably, without exaggeration, 40 times since this stream has started. I just every now and then click on it again, and you can just vote. You guys should be just sitting there voting. Vote. Over. Where's Brock Bowers? Where is he? In Arizona? What does he play? Where does he play? Vegas. You think Las Vegas has any idea what they're up against with their Rookie of the Week voting? They're going to vote once or twice and think their guy is going to do it. He ain't going to do it. Braylon Allen's going to do it because of who we are, but you got to click that link or just type in fucking Pepsi, whatever it is, Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week.com, whatever it might be. Just click the link. It's easier. And just vote. Sit here while you're hanging out and just vote every couple seconds. Just vote. There's 447 of you in here. If we all voted 1,600 times, he's going to win it. So there you go. We can do it all ourselves, man. Let him win. But I love him. I think we're only scratching the surface with this guy. You already saw it. You saw it running. You saw it passing. He can do everything. And by the way, he'll knock your teeth out if he's in pass protection as well. He loves it. He's good at it. So the guy's an all-around back that I love having.
I'm very excited. This is, again, a little bit of a throwback, and I think Braylon Allen might be, or has the potential at least, to be better than this other back that I'm going to name. But it's giving me some Curtis Martin, Lamont Jordan vibes. They need a change of pace. Give it to the big boy. Why not, to get the short yardage? And hey, our big boy can catch now with Braylon Allen.
That's right. So we're not, like when you have players, when you bring them on the field, they know there is a 90% chance that they know what you're doing because he doesn't do anything else. Now it's not to say that he's so good at it that you just do it and it works. That's great. But what's even better is when you have a guy that can do that great. He can do a great job doing that, but he's versatile enough that you're not locked into something when he runs on the field. These one-dimensional players, they limit you. So Braylon Allen can do everything. We saw them use him in the short yardage situation this week, which some Jets fans asked, on that 2-point conversion, why didn't they use Braylon Allen? Well, I think he's going to have to earn his spot. They trust Brees, and he can get the hard yards too. But I think it's going to help elongate Brees Hall's career if we don't run him headlong into the crowd to get 1 or 2 yards every time we need to. You now have Braylon Allen, and guess what? If you want to throw him in there, another guy that can get it is Isaiah Davis. He's another tough son of a bitch.
How about this? Crossfire's back again. He says, text or email me the window size, width, and height, and I will get it out to you. So we're going to have a piece of history with Crossfire. Crossfire's thing's going to be behind me. We'll set it up. We'll see how it looks. See if we like it. And we'll go from there.
I love it. So he said to measure it, it's 6 inches, and I heard that's average. So I don't want to hear it.
There's nothing wrong with that, Green Bean. That's more than enough. Please.
More than enough. That's what I've been told. It's more than enough.
It's adequate.
I don't need any more. I wouldn't like it. It's like that old Sam Kinison joke. He goes, "Oh, my last boy. I'm so glad you're not like my last boyfriend. He was so big and he just hurt." And you're like, I don't want to hear how big. I don't want to hear that. Anyway,
it's a good bit though.
It is.
I like this one from Quasimodo Wilson. Says, off topic, but do you guys feel that we should have our logo or NY somewhere on our jerseys? Could they just add it, or would you have to wait 5 years?
Yeah. The Jets, we wait 5 years for everything, even getting backup quarterbacks when our quarterback's Achilles tendon breaks. We wait far too long to do anything. I think we're a very measured and deliberate organization. Sometimes you got to move right now, and they'll let us think about it for a little while. Yeah, but I don't know. I would love it if, like, right here, you know, like it said it had that NY. That's, you know, our logo, the NY that they use. I would love that. Where is it? This one. This one right here. Whoops. I got to get a non-wheeled chair, Matt. I tell you, it's dangerous.
I'm wheeling around here too.
Yeah, so this thing right here, if they had that right on the jersey, like right here or right here, I think that would be sharp. I really do.
I would like that too. I like that logo. That reminds me of my childhood. Like that feels like that's like 2003 right there. That hat just brings me back to that year.
This is the best. This is 2000. This is 1998. This is 2009, 2010. This is that. You know, I love it too, man. It's my favorite.
Now, what I was gonna say, what I don't want to see is I'm sure you've seen on the some Jets hats and some merch, they have like just the wing. It's like the line, and then the thing, it goes up like that. That goes. Yeah. I don't want to see just that patch on the jersey. I'm not a fan of just that patch.
No, I'll tell you though, it has grown on me. Not to the point where I love it. I get it. I get what they're trying to do. Right, like to establish, you know, some logo, like, you know, like some image, right? So like the Colts or the Cowboys or the Cardinals or whoever, the Ravens, like have that symbol that is epitomizes. You know, you don't need to write Jets because our logo has always been a word. So like, really, how good is, yeah, sure, we have a football or sure we have a jet over it, but it's a word. So the idea of having that as a part of it, I do get it. And initially I hated it. I wish they would take off the chemtrail on the back. Like that, if they just, because then it looks uneven because of that. I don't know what these designers are thinking. It's like the guy who designed our previous logo and jerseys. Like, what are you thinking, dude? This is weak. Like somebody gets paid millions or whatever they make, and they're experts in their field, and that's what they came up with. And they go, yeah, it looks better with the thing. Yeah, but everybody's gonna think it looks uneven. Trust me, it's not. But it looks it. We're laymen, we're cavemen, we like football. So anyway, I digress. It has grown on me. I might even get a hat with it on it. I don't know, maybe a shirt with just like a t-shirt with just the logo on it at some point. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I definitely agree with you. I don't want to see it on the jersey.
I'm with you. Blitz Crew clarifies, by the way, he's a medical professional. He's a doctor. So as a medical professional, just stating facts, 5.5. So more than that, 50% of guys shorter than 6. He says 5.5 inches is average. So we're in the clear. Green bean.
If anybody's bringing 6 or more to the party, you're among the elites. You're you're the Irv Charles.
Yeah, the Irv Charles of packing heat, I guess.
That's right. Exactly. That's great.
Good stuff as always, Blitzker. And Crossfire, I saw it come through. Text or oh no, he said that one already. I'm sorry. It was the one underneath I wanted to pull up. Matt, I texted you a picture of what I'm thinking. Don't show anyone. I want it to be a surprise if you like it. Okay. So I won't show it on camera, but I did see the text. I'll open up the picture and really look at it after the show, and we'll get this thing done, Crossfire.
There you go. Good on Crossfire. Did you see that Crossfire gifted 5 memberships yet? I don't know if you did that.
I don't know if I did. I thought so, but if not, we'll toss it back up because he's an OG. We love Crossfire hanging out with us every Tuesday night. Gifting 5 memberships out to the people.
So the 5 members who now have a month's worth of our OnlyFans use the emojis and get your hands on a free super chat every month. Farouk, Josh McMinn, Jersey Jet again. Or maybe that was just, no. Okay. He snuck in there. Jersey Jet Tech. Crazy. He posted a comment right in the middle of receiving a gifted membership. So then we got White Mike 2023, Kevin S. Oh, no. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 5. Farouk, Josh McMinn, Jersey Jet, White Mike, and Kevin S. Congratulations and thank you, Crossfire. You're a man amongst men. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. I think we missed Quasimodo, so I'm going to go back to him. Great picture. Quasimodo Wilson. I would like to see more pre-snap motion. So what would your feeling of adding some more pre-snap motion into the mix for this New York Jets offense? What do you think of that?
Well, you know what I find hilarious?
Tell me, Green.
That we are the Jets. One of the most exciting and effective plays in the NFL the last decade has been the jet sweep. And the Jets utilize it less than anybody else in the league, I would say. We're on the bottom. Why do you think that is? Is it tied to the fact that the Jets can't get jets over their stadium? We only get helicopters? I mean, I don't know.
It might be.
What cosmic joke is this? What is it?
I don't know. We got to get a helicopter over there. Why can't we get like a nice one of those, the Army planes like that go right, right over?
Yeah. And let me tell you, this whole thing that they say about, well, it's all the airports and all this whatever, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I've been at Jets games where B-52 bombers have flown over or 3 jets, or I've seen it. I've been there, dude. I've seen it. Unless I'm in some sort of, Mandela effect kind of weirdness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been there. Dude, I went to every home game for I've been to probably, without exaggeration, probably 100 Jets games or more in my life. I've seen the damn Jets. Okay. I've seen them more than once, as a matter of fact. Why can't we get them anymore? It's always helicopter. Like, we're the Jets. Like the Cowboys can get a jet if they wanted. The Cardinals, everybody else, fucking anybody can get the Titans. We want jets. And we're the Jets. Pull off a deal. You're a $6 billion organization. You were the ambassador to the United Kingdom for the United States. Like, you have pull, dude. Just say, for 12 seconds of your day, I would like a B-52 or an F-24 or whatever, F-22 to fly over my stadium and just pull the appropriate strings, man. Same thing goes with the jet sweep. That's another thing I would ask in my interview for Coach. Look, we're the Jets. How do you view the jet sweep? I hate it. Get out. That's simple.
I like it.
So now, I would like to see more Quasimodo.
When do you think you saw? When do you think you saw the Jets fly over the stadium?
Well,
like, how long ago are we talking?
I feel like I remember it.
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this.
Not that long ago. I mean, probably Giant Stadium. I mean, granted, I haven't been to many games at MetLife. Like, we started in MetLife in 2011. My first time there was 2015, and I've been to pretty much one game, sometimes 2, every year since. I don't recall if it was ever MetLife. I don't think it was. So it's probably Giant Stadium. So 2010 and prior to that, no doubt.
Okay. I was trying to think, maybe we think we on the sauce a little bit, and that's why.
Listen, I was going to say that. So now only though, I wasn't going to say I was so hammered that I remember Jets, because that's never the case. Dude, let me just tell you, I was not a blackout drunk. I was such a bad, destructive drunk that I used to use the black-eyed excuse for why I did the shit I did. But I never, I blacked out one time because somebody gave me 2 Xanax at the bar, and I woke up in the middle of Patterson in the middle of a fight. That's how I woke up. We were fighting.
Well, that's a nightmare fuel.
Dude, I was in the back seat of a car. I had a guy's wrist. I was in the back seat. I was laying down, and I was pulling this guy's arm in, and I was using the bottom of my foot to smash his face. That's how I woke up. I was like, where am I? That's what I said. Where are we? And then my friend said, what do you mean, where are we? You took us here. I'm like, oh, no. But that was the only time. So I definitely didn't hallucinate the Jets. But remembering when it was, alcohol, drugs definitely impacts that a little bit, Matt.
I'm just teasing. I love you.
I can't remember.
𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞 says, Matt, make your jet sound again. You like that? They come flying over. Get the Blue Angels going.
So good. The Blue Angels, they're happy to do it, dude. I've seen them at fucking Boy Scout events. You know what I mean? I think I did.
I might as well. Crossfire says this is my first home game, and I am excited to go with everyone. I hope the Jets will be flying high that game on the field, baby.
I'm glad we're going to be present for his first home game. By the way, the Wayward Jets Fan Fund, which is still out there, I should drop the link in because we're working on fan number 2. I just booked the flight last night for the young Wyomingan Marine out there in California, stationed in California. It is now official. He will be coming to his first ever Jets game anywhere, and it happens to be a home game with all of us. Tailgate Joe, Matt O'Leary, Ryan, Jets Chaos, Crossfire, Dom C. Everybody's going to be. It's going to be amazing. And so Wyatt, Crossfire, all coming for their first game. It's going to be epic, man. I got one ticket, everybody. One more ticket. That's it.
The bid is at 6,200 right now.
6,200 right now. Beat it, and it's yours.
𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞𝐬𝐫 follows it up, says Jets had damn Shrek mascot before they had any Jets. The Jets had a mascot?
I don't know if it was a mascot, but Shrek would walk around. Remember that? That was real. Why did they do that again? There was some reason for it. You remember that? Let me see. New York Jets Shrek. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't really remember this.
There was something going on. It's like a vague. Let's see.
Is that Jets? A Mandela effect?
2001.
Well, okay.
They cut a promotional deal with DreamWorks. That the big green ogre for one day was at the Meadowlands. So he will hand out 70,000 lime green Shrek ears. So you know how they have like Towel Day?
Yeah.
One day in 2001. How did we do in 2001? Were we any good? 2001?
They made the playoffs.
That was Herm's first year, 2001. So Herm came on, and Herm had to deal with his first time as a head coach in a very difficult place. He had to look up in the stands and see 70,000. Actually, it would be 140,000 Shrek ears because 2 each. Right?
2 each, yeah. So double it.
So that's what
you at the Shrek ears game. Do you remember that?
Probably, yeah, probably. I went to every game during that era, every single game, home game. That is
that's right. That's right before we get Matt O'Leary understanding New York Jets football.
Yeah,
that was 2 years later. I would have been all in on it.
So good for you, because you didn't have to endure that shit. It's like when I would go to Nets games. The Nets today, I used to have these colorful gorillas that would jump around the damn court in commercials. So we got Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen playing the Nets, and like when they go to commercial break, you know, most teams have like these hot Cheetos. They're doing that shit, and we had like doom, 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 doom. It was brutal. I was a diehard Nets fan. I used to go all the time. You get tickets. You get like you go get a fries from McDonald's, and your ticket's $1. Man, they were like, just come in here and buy a hot dog, please. Keep us alive.
So this was much later on. I was in high school at this point. But when I think it was like the Nets, either their last year or like second to last year, they were really, really bad. Yeah, okay. 2000, that makes sense. 2010, they went 12-70. I remember in one of my business class, there's one kid, shout out Chris Babick. He was a Nets fan, and every day in class we'd go on StubHub and look at the price of tickets. And I remember one day they got below $1. You could go get in for like 67 cents on StubHub or some shit.
See, I'll tell you.
Imagine that.
All right, listen to this. So 2000 on November 9th, 2014. I have a picture of it, Matt. You want to see it? I'm going to send you a link.
Send me the link.
I was at this game, no doubt. 2014. No, this is MetLife. I wasn't at this game. So what happened? This is recent. This is 10 years ago. Oh no, I'm dropping.
What is this?
I'm going to drop it in the. I put it in the wrong chat. Hold on. This is F-16 fighter jets flying over a Jets game. You can see the Jets on the field. The Jets logo on the field. There it is.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. This is November 9th, 2014. All right, let's do this. Let's share the screen.
Proof.
We got visual proof. This was not a fever dream. We did get the fighter, the F-16s going right over.
Only two, Matt. You couldn't get that third to make it make it like kind of like nice, like a triangle.
Yeah, that would have been really nice.
Just
why
two.
not? What about the Blue Angels? I don't think they do anything other than Memorial Day weekend, right? They got time.
Yeah, I said, dude, you're like, great, we're having a picnic. Can you get the Blue Angels to like give us $50?
Yeah, right. That's what I mean.
Fly
Get
right
it
over that shit.
right over.
I'll tell you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Just End the Stigma says classic uni Sunday Night Football versus the Colts could have looked like Super Bowl 3. Yeah, that would have been a cool look. Although we're the Jet, I guess the Jets were in white, right? Yeah, they must have been in white for the they
let me
were
say
in the Super Bowl.
On that note, Matt, do you know, like we talked about this so many times that I even forgot to talk about it week 1. You knew what uniform combo we wore week 1, right?
The white on the green, the Peter Griffins. You know how I feel about the Peter Griffins.
Dude, well, there's good reason that you feel. The Jets are lost. Like we've lost, like I think it's like 88% of our games in that combo. We've been saying it since like the Dennis Bird days. We were saying that stuff. Like, stop wearing the white jersey with the green pants. And then like 3 years ago, we bombarded Woody Johnson and he changed the uniform. You remember that? It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, he got bullied into doing the white. Did he go white on white or the white on the black?
He went white on white. Yeah, which is the best combo.
It is, by the way.
That's my
hard
favorite.
agree. Hard agree. That reminds me of the 2009-2010 Jets. I don't think they ever wore green. They wore white on white like every single week. So that's like what I think of during that stretch. Although in the playoffs, they switched it up in New England. They wore the green pants the second time because they got their doors blown off 45-3 in New England in the regular season. So there are some good white on green memories for me, but white on white is the best look, in my opinion.
Yep, I love it. And I love that we're going to be seeing the classics this year against the Bills. I love it. We have three awesome. We got the black helmets, right? We got the green helmets and we got the white helmets. I'm all about it this year. I think we're revved up, man. We're going to do it.
I think so. Blitz Crew gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much to our guy Blitz Crew. He's giving out the OnlyFans subscription so you can see if Green Bean and I are above average.
That's right. We do all that kind of stuff in there. Yeah. Which, by the way, we do have to step it up in there. We were doing so. It's really well built out, our Discord, and we got distracted. So we're gonna head up. We're gonna do some good stuff in there this year. I just I resigned, Matt. So this week is my first week here, like without a I'm self-employed. I had the best last 2 days were the best 2 work days I've had since I was not working.
That makes me happy. Good.
Yeah, so I'll focus more on that stuff too. The guys that Blitz Crew gave those awesome OnlyFans memberships to, Flight Boys 2.0, Slim God, changed his name a little bit there. Just a Guy, Hype, Hank G, and Mike Rubino. You guys all got new gifts. Oh, and Crossfire's jumping into we got the dueling gifted memberships going on.
Oh, baby, I got Crossfire now. He got another 5 in there. Here we go.
Yeah, Blitz Crew and Crossfire, dude. They are the absolute best. I love you guys. By the way, Blitz Crew made a very generous donation to the OnlyFans. To the Wayward Jets fan fund. Not the only one. Many of you guys in here did. We had a lot of donations, whether they were $5, $10, $15. But I want to just acknowledge Blitz Crew's the best. We met him last year. A barrel of laughs. Just a great guy, man. So I just love having you as part of the community. Crossfire, I don't know yet because I haven't met him. He could be a complete butthole in person. He looks like a great guy, don't you know?
Crossfire, you get me curtains, get me electricity.
Yeah, and I'm just kidding. Crossfire is a beanbagger, so I see him on Wednesday nights often. So it took him like a year to show us his face, though. And he finally one day popped up. I'm like, hey! He's like, all right, fine, you can see me. There we go. He's great. I love.
He showed up to work on my house in a Talkin' Jets hat. I said, "This is my guy.
My kind of guy."
He goes, "I'm a dick." Well, good stuff. We got another super chat I wanted to get to. I don't remember these, but do you, Green Bean? Do you remember the Vinny and the Jets commercials? They used to drive me nuts.
Vinny, and I remember them doing that shit. I don't remember if it was a commercial though. I remember that, but I remember it more like on the back of the post, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like I could see like you said, a back of a newspaper with that, but I don't know. They must have had a commercial or a song or something, you know.
Yeah, well, because it was an Elton John song, Benny and the Jets. But Benny and the Jets. I definitely saw. Scantleberry, I know what you're talking about, man. I just don't remember. I don't remember what the commercial was, but I remember. It's cool for a second.
It gets old real quick.
Yeah, drive him nuts. That's funny.
Green Bean, are we giving anything away today?
I don't think we can. Can we? I mean, I don't know. Oh, I have a whole list. I kept the list.
Do you have a list?
I do. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Let me give one more. Let me drop one more of these in the chat.
Okay, hold on. Let's do this.
Yeah, we can.
Why not? What do we have? We have a hat, shirt, mug, pillow, right? I'm not going to put jersey on this wheel. It's not as involved as Ryan's wheel. These are all even pies. So,
all right, I got a double. My buddy Gitmo Bob is already on the list from this today. So let me get another one. Greg Gagne. Okay. All right.
So how many?
I got 30. Let's do one more. I got 35.
Okay, let's share this tab instead. So we're going to do 35. Minimum number is 1. Maximum number is 35. 27.
Wait, let me see who all right, so it doesn't matter anyway. Quasimodo Wilson wins tonight.
Quasimodo, baby. All right, so let's flip over here. Now, it's not as involved as Ryan's wheel, but I'm trying my best here. So we got either a hat, shirt, mug, or pillow going his way.
Amazing.
All right, let's see.
You did it so fast. I'm so impressed.
On the fly, no less.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was going to be pillow. Hat.
Hat. There you go. All right. Send an email to Talkin' Jets or Ryan, who's our merch guy and ticket guy. While we were on the air, he emailed me 6 tickets. I don't know whose 6 they are. I know 2 who are definite. So me and Taylor.
5 on your list?
5. I guess my parents and my sister are going, so maybe that's 3. But then that would be 5. But then I don't know who the extra 1 is.
You,
me, Taylor, Tara, my sister, mom, and dad is 5.
Yeah, I don't know. Ryan's all jacked up.
Oh no, we're gonna have to figure this out. Unless maybe I'm doing something wrong which is entirely possible. Maybe I have someone else's ticket. Maybe I have Crossfire's ticket.
Maybe.
Although I'm sure his wife would want to go. So I don't know where.
1 is a parking pass, Ryan said. He's hanging.
Oh, look at this. Say this is why 1 is a parking pass. Thank you for the clarification. Well, all I had to do was read, probably. And I didn't.
No, it came in after you asked, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, you mean looked at? Well,
yeah, like actually,
you're doing something. You're making wheels. I mean, you got a lot.
Yeah, I'm making wheels, keeping track of super, but we're doing the damn thing. Green Bean, I missed Ryan today. I really did, but I had a fun time with you. The 2 of us, I thought we did a good job tonight.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Of course, I miss Ryan as well. But this was an easy breezy cover girl kind of show. And I feel like we did a good job too. Hopefully they feel the same way, Matt, because I had fun.
I had fun as well. Hopefully all you guys had fun in the chat. Also, good news, isn't your Antigo show coming back tomorrow?
That's right. I have 2 announcements, 3 really.
Okay, let it rip.
So it's a heavy week. So number 1, all right, I'll start with the Tigo thing since you mentioned. So on Wednesday night, 8:00, right on here, this channel, the Talkin' Jets channel, Tigo and I will be back for the Armchair GM show at 8 p.m. And I'm going to tell you something. Tigo and I have been arguing for the better part of 2 weeks about all kinds of shit. So I can't wait to get him on the screen and virtually smack him right in the chops. So it's going to be a relatively boisterous show, I think. So I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it, man. So 8:00 right here, me and 𝐒𝐲 Armchair GM. Thursday night, since the game is a Thursday night football game, what we've elected to do this year, we've done it otherwise in previous years when we were on Thursday night football, but we're just going to join the two shows, the Thursday Thick of It and the live reaction show. We're going to have me, Jeremy, and Frankie as we would for every other game, but Gunny and Dom C will also be with us. So there's going to be lots of time for charting with Dom and Frankie, and then Gunny, who, if you haven't seen Gunny watch a game yet, it's something to behold, dude. The guy is completely he lacks control completely of his emotion. He cannot temper it. He's out of control. So it's going to be a fun night. Jeremy is great. I'm really looking forward to hanging with everybody in one stream. So now the biggest news and what I'm most excited about for right now, because that's the only time we have is right now. Right after this show at 10:30 is the return of the After Hours Jets Fest. So it's the first one in 2 years. I think I did like one random one in there somewhere. But it's about 2 years, year and a half since we did it. So 10:30 over on Green Bean Jets Fan, we're going to reintroduce the After Hours Jets Fest, talking about all kinds of shit. So it's always a good time. I hope you'll join me. I'm really excited to get back into it. So see you then, 10:30.
That makes me really happy. I love the After Hours Fest because usually that's like my wind down time. I post Just Jets, which that's my plug, is coming out tomorrow. And then I watch After Hours on my phone before I go to sleep. So I'm glad that routine is going to be back in my life. Also, while you were talking, I thought of a really cool, well, in my head, it's cool, but I think it would be a really good concept for a show on Talkin' Jets with you and 𝐒𝐲. Do you want to hear this concept that I thought of?
Do it.
Okay, so you know how usually in boxing, there's 3-minute rounds, and then it's like a minute in between each round? You guys should do a Jets debate in person, 3 minutes of debate, you versus each other. And then instead of resting for 1 minute, you box for a minute. So it's the inverse. Like you guys, like you argue and then you like come to blows for a minute and then you stop and then you debate a second topic for 3 minutes and then you fight some more.
How do we fight? Talk about that. How do we do it?
Boxing with headgear.
Oh, you mean like go down to Florida?
Yeah, we rent a ring. Me and Ryan will be announcing it. We'll give you the topics, debate it out. Now, clearly, I did not ask you or 𝐒𝐲 if you're good with that, and the logistics are obviously very challenging for to make something like that happen. I think that would be hilarious content.
Well, you know what sucks too is that he lives in an area of Florida I don't want to go to.
Okay.
That's the bad part about it. I'd love to go to Florida. I got lots of reasons to go. I was just there. I just got back from there on a week ago. So, or actually a week ago, Thursday. So, but anyway, I would now isn't 𝐒𝐲 like some sort of martial arts guy? I think I'll still.
He may have been. Is he not Navy? Some armed forces, I believe.
Yeah, he's armed forces. You know what? I'm confident in my old ass. I haven't fought in probably 18 years. I'm ready. I've been training.
I love it. This was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'm Matt. He's Green Bean. We'll catch you next time.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the pouch. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those meltdown, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.